Thank you for listening to Stories at Pink Meow Meow Audio. Hope you enjoy the story. Someone posted anonymously on the school forum, how to pursue a girl with no means of contact. Comment below enthusiastically to offer ideas. Intentionally drop the student card next to her. Wait for her to pick it up and then go to the wall to find the person who lost it, so you have a good reason to add WeChat. Then invite to dinner to thank. So can't we get used to it? A few days later, the homeowner came back with feedback. Inefficient. She asked her boyfriend to return my student card to me. What to do now? Fold, fold, fold. Have a boyfriend. The homeowner's merit is gone. I support the landlord. Trample morality. Be yourself. I'm very familiar this afternoon. Just drop it a few more times. Boyfriend feels annoyed. She will contact you herself anyway. I lowered my head and looked at the student card of the male god of school that I had accidentally picked up for the third time, falling into silence. The article was posted on 20th. I checked my chat history with my boyfriend. As soon as he sat down, he gave me a cup of lemon tea, 3 parts sugar, a little ice, oolong tea, added concentrated lemon juice and coconut jelly. Seeing that I did not reach out to receive it, he rubbed his nose, then realized and added, "Oh, Kai Kiem and I are roommates. He said he liked this, so I ordered 2 cups." "Is that so? But I never told Kai Kiem about this." I picked up the glass, took a sip, and pretended to be calm and asked, "I heard you like me." In a moment, the glass in Lu Yingthan's hand fell to the ground, cold tea flowing down his collar. He coughed so hard that his back arched. Adam's apple moved with difficulty. In the dry cough mixed with intermittent hoarse sounds, "Excuse me, I need to go to the bathroom for a moment." I watched his panicked figure leave. Before I could react, the cell phone screen on the table suddenly lit up. Someone called Lu Yingthan. After the other party hung up, the phone screen did not turn off by itself, but stopped at the website interface that Lu Yingthan had visited before. I can say I wasn't trying to peek. It's just that the text on the search history is really big. How to get your roommate to treat his girlfriend better. How to break the ice with the girl you like. White shirt for men is like black socks for women. Tears are the best cosmetic procedure for men. The ultimate girl sawing tool. Latest thread is, "My roommate is so bad, how do I convince him to break up?" When Lu Yingthan turned back, the water stains on his shirt had faded a bit. The fabric stuck to his stomach, revealing the curves of his muscles. I tried to force myself to look away, but the image of Lu Yingthan playing basketball suddenly appeared in my mind. Kai Kiem always dragged me to watch him play basketball. Kai Kiem once complained to me that Lu Yingthan was very lonely and rarely talked to his roommates. He always refused invitations to play basketball by saying he didn't have time, but just a second later, this person appeared in the opponent's lineup, not knowing what kind of crazy fit he had, playing so hard that Ji Kin's team lost miserably, defending so that Ji Tian couldn't even touch the rim. The whole court was using towels to wipe their sweat. Only Lu Yingshin stood out, insisting on pulling up his basketball jersey to wipe his sweat. Every time we play football, we have to bring tea for everyone. Even though his teammates booed that no one liked to drink, he still did as he pleased, regardless of anyone. Kai Kiem gritted his teeth and concluded, "Just know how to cause trouble." Sunny morning, rainy afternoon, always liked to show off. Every time he said a word, he banged on the fence of the football field. Reject you, beat you, and finally used his favorite tea to upset you. Before he finished speaking, a bottle of tea flew from the opposite side and hit him in the chest. Kai Kiem cursed and then gave it to me. Then I drank a few sips, only felt that the tea was really delicious. Lu Yingthan's voice pulled me out of my thoughts. "Sorry, my hand slipped just now." I looked away from his wet, glistening collarbone, silently reminding myself of the thing I wanted to ask him for help with. Lu Yingtran's expression had returned to its cold state, completely unable to show the confusion from just now. It's just that his ears were so red they looked like they were about to bleed. The next second, Lu Yingshin opened his mouth and said, "Classmate Shen Sui King, you misunderstood. I don't like you." I was stunned. My mind instantly became confused. "Can you pretend to be my boyfriend?" kept on the tip of my tongue but couldn't get it out. Why won't he admit it? Am I being sentimental? Because he choked earlier and shed physiological tears, the corners of Lu Yingshen's eyes were still red. He seemed to realize something and asked, "What were you going to say?" I shook my head mechanically. Lu Yingshen clenched his left hand and coughed lightly. "Oh, I have something to tell you. Your boyfriend Ji Qian cheated on you." Before I could even talk, Lu Yingshen quickly added, "I'm not lying to you. Last week he said he would go with Professor Li to participate in a project in another city, right? But I saw him in Jingshen Park watching fireworks with another girl." Lu Yingshen took out his cell phone.
In the photo, Ji-Kian's sleeve was held by the girl standing with her back to the camera. There was a loving smile on his face. Waves of yellow fireworks exploded behind them. Look at them, they were so well matched. Where was I at that time? I was lying on the hospital bed, smelling the strong smell of disinfectant. My whole body was trembling as I called Ji-Kian. I wanted to tell him that I had been in a car accident. My arm was scratched. It hurt so much. No one answered. On the fourth call, I finally got through, but I heard his tired and helpless voice. Oh, Ji-Kian, this project is really important to me. You stay in the hospital obediently. I will come visit you when I get back. Lu Yingshen was still saying something beside me, but I couldn't hear anything anymore. Tears were like a tide flowing up my nose. I then felt really embarrassed. I came here with great energy, confident that Lu Yingfan would agree to pretend to be my boyfriend, then take revenge on Kikian, find the girl behind him. But what happened? He didn't like me at all. I stood up suddenly. The chair legs dragged on the ground, making a loud screeching sound. I also didn't care about Lu Yingfan's reaction. I just wanted to quickly leave this place. Behind me, a gust of wind blew. My wrist was suddenly grabbed by a hot hand. The inertia made me stagger back half a step. I was forced to turn around, bumping into a warm chest. Lu Yingfan used his other hand to open his suit jacket and put it on my trembling shoulders. I was about to push him away when suddenly Kikian's voice rang out behind me. "I've been looking for you. Why are you here?" At this moment, Lu Yingfan's fan that was gently resting on my shoulder suddenly tightened. In Kikian's voice, he could not hide his surprise. "Lu Yingfan, who is the person in your heart? Your girlfriend?" In my sight, Lu Yingfan's Adam's apple slid up and down twice. His wet shirt collar billowed with each breath. After a long while, he gave a low sound. Before Kikian could ask further, Lu Yingfan suddenly smiled. His eyes became hot. He loosened his grip on my wrist, intertwining our fingers instead. Although his fingertips were slightly trembling, he suddenly lowered his head, gently touching his lips to mine, his voice carrying a decisive tone as if he was risking his life. "Yes, she is my girlfriend." "Oh, I didn't expect you had a girlfriend. When was that? Why don't you introduce yourself to us?" He twisted his suit jacket down, just enough to cover our tightly interlocking fingers. Kikian did not recognize me. I remembered that photo. A feeling of revenge arose in my heart. I stared at the light brown mole under Lu Yingfan's Adam's apple, suddenly wrapping my arms around his waist. The muscles under his arms instantly tensed like bowstrings. The pounding in my ears grew louder. Kikian stood 3 meters away, next to the green potted plant. His eyes stopped on the back of the girl who was stiffening in Lu Yingfan's arms. He didn't know why, but he always felt that person's figure a bit familiar. He was about to take a closer look when Lu Yingfan blushed to his ears and glared angrily at Kikian. He immediately gave up the idea, remembered his purpose of finding Lu Yingfan, and spoke again. "Lu Yingfan, you are a medical student, right? I want to ask you, in the obstetrics and gynecology department of our school's hospital, who is the best doctor?" Lu Yingfan frowned. "Why are you asking this?" Facing Lu Yingfan's sharp gaze, Kikian was a bit embarrassed. "Oh, my girlfriend has a pretty serious stomachache every time she has her period. Every time I see her in so much pain, I feel so heartbroken. I want to take her for a checkup." I sneered. I've never had a stomachache during my period. The girlfriend in Kikian's words was definitely the girl in the photo. Lu Yingfan's brows raised slightly in mockery, his attitude clearly being one of refusal. Just as he was about to speak, I gently shook his hand that was holding mine. I want to use this bait to lure that girl out.
Lu Yingshen frowned, his initial refusal now turning into, "All right, I agree to help you, but I'm in the cardiology department and don't know much about obstetrics and gynecology. Let me go ask my classmates in the obstetrics and gynecology department." Ji Chen's footsteps gradually faded away. Lu Yingshen's heartbeat was too loud, resounding so loudly that it numbed my eardrums. I pushed Lu Yingshen away and raised my hand to rub my ears. As a result, Lu Yingshen brought his face closer, his expression happy but also a bit pitiful. "If you want to hit, then hit." Finally, he added, "Just calm down. I held your hand, hugged you, and even kissed you without asking for permission, but Gi Hiem is a scumbag. I know you don't have a stomachache during your period. The girl he's talking about isn't you. You must break up with him." Lu Yingshen suddenly fell silent, as if he realized he had just said something wrong. "I know." Well, it was because Ji Chen had said this before. Lu Yingshen's ears were red, looking up at the sky and the ground, but he absolutely didn't dare to look at me. I crossed my arms, looking at him expressionless. I said, "You?" And he closed his eyes, his eyelids trembled slightly, he turned his head and waited for me to slap him, then scold him. If I hadn't heard those words from Ji Qian, Lu Yingshen and I wouldn't have met, let alone hugged and kissed. Going this far, I probably tacitly accepted Lu Yingshen's small actions. I poked at the small light brown mole under Lu Yingshen's Adam's apple. "I've broken up with Gi Hien. Would you agree to pretend to be my boyfriend?" I didn't sleep well last night, partly because I kept thinking, I still don't know how to get revenge on Gi Hiem, partly because of Lu Ten. He sent me 10 messages in a row on WeChat. I thought something urgent. The result was he changed his nickname to Phone Stepped On by Cat. Is there a cat in the dorm? I asked him why a medical student like him was sharing a room with someone studying information technology. It was 2 a.m. Lu Sen replied immediately, "Because of him." I was stunned. Those 3 words were immediately taken back. The chat box shows the text being typed. After a while, Lu Sen replied, "Chuang arranged it like that. I don't know why. Go to bed early. There is an elective class at 8 a.m. Good night." I yawned as I walked towards the classroom. Not far ahead, Lu Ten was holding a paper bag, head down typing on his cell phone. Occasionally, he frowned and then smiled, revealing a cocky smile. I curiously walked up behind him but stopped. On the mobile phone screen is a chat box with me. He typed in the words "Good morning," then deleted them. Repeated 3 times he sighed and pressed send, then entered breakfast, lunch, then deleted, re-entered, "Would you like to eat the breakfast I brought?" His finger hovered over the send button for a few seconds before hitting delete again. I gently called his name, Lu Ten. Lu Sen's hand shook. The message that had not been deleted sent. Lu Ten, "Do you want to eat me?" Last night, I confirmed it with Lu Ten for the 2nd time. He still denies liking me. Although his eyes glanced back and forth, his face was red, but he still did not admit it. However, he did not hesitate to agree to pretend to be my boyfriend to get revenge on Gi Hiem. I did not understand the reason, nor did I ask further. Lu Ten brought me breakfast, all my favorite dishes. This makes me wonder why Lu Ten knows exactly what my preferences are. Even Gi Hiem didn't know these things, but he knew. I hesitated for a moment, about to open my mouth to ask more, when the breakfast in my hand was suddenly snatched away by someone else. Gi Hiem frowned and opened the breakfast bag. "Ah, Tying, why don't you buy some buns and soy milk? I don't like eating these things." Before, every time I went to school, I would bring breakfast for Gi Hiem. Unexpectedly, after suggesting to break up, he brazenly wanted to eat my breakfast. I jerked back and laughed coldly. "Gi Hien, we've broken up." Gi Hiem was stunned. "When?" I watched him quickly open our chat box. His expression changed, but I did not feel the slightest movement. It turned out he didn't see the message I sent at all. I stepped back, avoiding Gi Hiem's hand that wanted to grab mine. "I have a new boyfriend. Please respect yourself." Gi Hiem heard that and frowned, then smiled lightly as if he understood. "Ah, Tying, it's my fault that I've been so busy lately that I haven't paid attention to you. But I don't need to make up such a ridiculous lie just to get your attention. Is it funny?" My new boyfriend is standing right in front of him. I said nothing, just once again shook off Gichem's hand that was trying to pat my head. His eyebrows raised, his expression turned cold and sarcastic. Shan Suitain, I gave you a chance, don't take advantage of the situation. If you want to break up, then calm down and think again. The first step of the plan has been successfully completed. I said no more, turned and walked into the classroom. Luang Zhen also quietly followed behind me. This is an elective class of the Information Technology Department, allowing students from other majors to enroll. When we split into groups, Luang Zhen took the initiative to join our group. Today's class is a midterm report. Luang Zhen volunteered to give the presentation. It was a normal briefing, but he made it look like a press conference. Neat black suit, hair carefully styled. When introducing the group members, the names of two people, Shan Suitan and Lu Engten, stood next to each other. When Lu Engten read up to here, he suddenly stopped. He raised his head and looked across the crowd in the classroom, straight at me, smiling brightly. Then he read the two names in a cheerful tone. Help me. Lu Namtan is truly a cold flower when he's not smiling. Why does it sound like a husky destroying the house when he smiles? The corners of his mouth turned up higher than my final grade. 3 parts shame, 4 parts boast. Right, what is he showing off? He ran from medical school to information technology class. Is it just to show off? The whole class, tired from the morning class, immediately woke up. The buzz of discussion made me feel like I was sitting on hot coals. The bell rang. I immediately ran out the back door of the classroom. Unexpectedly, when I turned around, I met Lu Engtan at the post office. He stood on the corner, wearing only a white shirt, reaching out to grab my package. Boyfriend receiving service, please check. I shook my head and refused. Lu Engtan looked around, then leaned closer to me. I'm pretending to be your boyfriend. I have to do my job well. I can't let others find my flaws. Warm breath blew into my ear. I shrunk my neck. I used the excuse of dirtying my clothes and not being on the way to refuse. Lu Engzen's eyes curved, his fingertips shaking his collar. It just so happened that I had a lot of white bow shirts, so I changed into another one. Even better, I was also going the same way. Immediately after, the navigation voice on the phone rang, replanning the route for you. Lu Engzen was stunned and stammered, I'm doing charity work. Collecting energy to stop ants can plant trees. That's right, we have to protect the environment. On the way back to the dormitory, both of us were silent. Just as I was about to say something to break the silence, Lu Engzen's cell phone rang. I reached out and asked Lu Engzen to give me the package. Lu Engzen hugged me even tighter, looking at me with an expectant gaze. The phone kept ringing continuously, as if it wasn't afraid of disturbing others. I took a deep breath, using his fingertips to pull the phone out of his pocket and quickly pressing the answer button. Lu Engten has an appointment at 10. Where the hell are you? A man's scolding voice came from the other side. Lu Engten still looked calm. Wait a moment. I'll take care of all the final exam review materials. I have something very important to do now. Without waiting for the other party to react, he held the package in one hand, reached out with the other hand and pressed the call-ending button. Can't he hold the parcel with one hand? Looking at my concerned eyes, Lu Engzen finally reacted, hurriedly using both hands to hug the package again.
This package is a bit heavy. My arm is a bit tired. Tui Tui, can you help me put my cell phone back in my pocket? Go to the dormitory. I thank him. Lu Yingshen interrupted me. Sui, I just said I have something very important right now. I said it wrong. I wanted to say that to me, you are the most important thing. My heart suddenly skipped a beat. That night, Qi-Chin asked Lu Yingshen to find an obstetrician. Lu Yingshen took the initiative to help register, but Qi-Chin cautiously refused. Therefore, Lu Yingshen introduced his best friend's lecturer to Qi-Chin and asked his best friend to keep an eye on him. Qi-Chin didn't know that all his actions at the hospital were being monitored by us. That morning, as soon as school ended, Lu Yingshen hurriedly called me to the hospital. In the corner of the hallway, Qi-Chin was waiting for the doctor to call his name with a girl. Qi-Chin gently fixed the hair on the girl's forehead. Don't be afraid, I'll be here with you. The girl obediently nodded. Please invite patient number 57 Sha Ja Ja to examination room number 3. The announcement rang out and 2 people entered the clinic. I wore a wig, rimless glasses, and Lu Tsung-Thun's white and blue shirt hid in a hidden corner, turned on the camera, and pointed it straight at the clinic door. Not long after, the clinic door opened. The girl's face appeared before my eyes. I opened my eyes wide. Why her? The coffee shop on the corner was filled with the rich aroma of coffee. Ha Jia Jai wore a light blue gold-plated cardigan with a white silk skirt inside. Her temperament was extremely gentle. I miss you, she smiled. What do you want from me? I pursed my lips, not knowing how to start the conversation. It wasn't until today, when I saw Sha Jaja's face, that I remembered that we had met once before. I had hypoglycemia. One time, while waiting for the subway, I almost fainted and Sha Jaja discovered something unusual and helped me to the seat. She waited a moment. I also had hypoglycemia and always carried candy with me. She rummaged through all my pockets but couldn't find anything. I still clearly remember her worried expression at that time. Where did she go? Why is it that at such a crucial moment she's nowhere to be found? Oh, right. She suddenly patted her head, unhooked the hook on her bag, and took out a few fruit candies from the belly of the little chick. She stayed until my dizziness subsided, and then Sha Jaja left. I didn't think that such a girl could interfere in my relationship. Other people, unless I am Thumb Du Tang, Kikiam's girlfriend. Sha Jaja was stunned, her eyes wide open. Does Kikiam's girlfriend have a girlfriend? He told me he was single. I breathed a sigh of relief. Sure enough, Hajiji didn't know anything, or more precisely, her ex-girlfriend. We were both fooled by him. If I hadn't accidentally heard his conversation with his friends in the lab, I would have let Sha Jaja listen to the recording that day. I'm so angry. My boyfriend on Pinduoduo is more loyal than him. Pinduoduo, a very popular e-commerce platform in China, even asked for reviews. Is he worthy? Why don't you just judge yourself as trash? Calling him trash is also praising him. The trash is cleaner than he is. The garbage classification manual should have a separate chapter for him. Humanoid waste cannot be recycled. Haji Jai was so angry that she wanted to call Kikiam to confront him immediately. I stopped her. We still lack evidence. She didn't find out he had a girlfriend. Most likely, he was using a secondary account. What's worse is that besides her, many other girls were also deceived. You listen to me. We do it like that. Hajiji and I discussed and prepared to leave. It started to rain lightly. The store clerk suddenly stopped me. Miss, here is an umbrella someone left for you. I quickly took Haji Jai to the taxi. Then I just walked down the street. Sure enough, 5 minutes later, Luke Ungthen with slightly wet clothes happened to meet me. What a coincidence! I didn't bring an umbrella. Can I go with you? I smiled. Answer me first. Do you like me? Luke Ungthen nodded vigorously, then as if remembering something, he changed to shaking his head. No, I don't like it. That's not right. Since when did I like it? Even pretending to be your boyfriend. I suddenly became very angry. On impulse, I stuffed the umbrella into Luke Ungthen's hand, put my arms around his neck, and kissed him on the lips. Luke Ungthen jumped, almost dropping the axe to the ground. He quickly regained the initiative, placing his palm on the back of my neck, deepening the kiss. While the two were immersed in a kiss that they didn't want to let go of, Luke Ungthen's cell phone rang again. As for Kikiam, I still felt dissatisfied, once again biting the small brown mole under his throat. Luke Ungthen slid his hand to answer the phone. The other end of the line did not say anything. It was completely silent. Only Luke Ungthen's heavy breathing could be heard through the receiver. Are you jogging? Why are you breathing so heavily? Kikiam's voice sounded a little low. What's up? If not, I'll hang up now. Of course there is. A cold laugh rang out. Tham Tui Than and I broke up. Now I want to get back with her. What do you think I should do? Luke Ungthen said unhappily. She already has a new boyfriend. Why do you still want to bother her? You are an adult. Why are you immersed in love every day? Before he finished speaking, Luke Ungthen's hand that was hugging my waist suddenly tightened. I turned back to look at Kikiam, who was standing in the rain not far away, quietly looking at us. Kikiam touched his cheek with the tip of his tongue and laughed mockingly. I wonder why you were acting like you were crazy.
asking me about the details of your relationship with Shen Sui Qing, and even using the excuse of imparting love experience. It turns out you had this intention. A medical student like you suddenly transferred to the IT major dormitory? All because of Shen Sui Qing? I raised my head to look at Lu Yingxin. He took a step forward, protecting me from behind. Of course, moving dorms is to monitor you. Lu Yingxin curled his lips to see what kind of person Tui Tui liked and then found her preferences. It's just that you are completely unworthy of Tui Tui. Kikiam clenched his fists, his knuckles pale. I also said, why did Hajia Jai suddenly want to break up? Looks like you told her, right? It's none of your business. Kikiam swung his fist and struck. Luke Ungthin gave me the umbrella without any panic and then rushed to fight with Kikiam. I quickly stopped him. If you hit me again, I will call the police. When the two separated, they both had wounds on their bodies. I held up the umbrella to cover Luke Ungthin, looking at his wound with pain. His cheek was slashed with blood and the corner of his mouth was torn. Even though he was drenched, he still smiled and said, "It doesn't hurt. My boyfriend's injury is my girlfriend's glory." The rain was getting heavier and heavier. Kikiam stood in the rain, his whole body soaked. He wiped the rain off his face, laughed mockingly, and looked down at me from above. "Tham Tui Thean, remember that you are not worthy of me. I will find a girlfriend who is more beautiful and excellent than you." Kikiam's plan of course failed. Before he finds a new girlfriend, Sha Jia and I collected a lot of evidence, including text message history, photos, and audio recordings. It was even discovered that he maintained ambiguous relationships with several other girls. We have made Kikiam's behavior public on the school forum. Oh my God, I never thought this kind of thing would happen right next to me. The two girls should report directly to the police. This brother's love KPI is higher than the number of times I failed a credit. Really, consider yourself an emperor. Recruiting concubines right on college campus? Hideous. Waiting for the IT industry schedule, want to take an elective course in time management? From introductory to playing both sides? It is definitely true. I have a classmate who was his victim. When Kikiam confronted me, I just gently parried and skillfully dodged. He stared at me. I calmly looked back at him. A few seconds later, Kikiam laughed, his voice full of mockery. "Do you think you won? Don't you feel strange? Before she and Luke Ungthin were completely unfamiliar with each other, but he suddenly liked her, for no reason."
So sooner or later, there will come a day when he meets someone better than her, suddenly likes someone else, and eventually abandons her. I laughed. If one day we break up, it will only be because we are not compatible, not because of whether we are excellent or not. Moreover, the standard of excellence is not for you to decide. Qichen, you are too hasty. Qichen Shang got angry and shouted at me. "Shen's Waking, you have completely lost. Because of you, I will only be more careful and hiding in the future, and many other girls will be deceived by me. I have to thank you for reminding me." I laughed. "It was you who made the mistake first. I just expose it later, don't reverse the cause and effect. Is it true that the bank installed surveillance cameras, forcing thieves to improve their stealing techniques, and then blame the bank for installing the cameras? What makes you think she'll let you hurt her forever? We didn't join forces to break your leg. What if you hide it better? Every time it comes to light, it makes more and more girls more wary. From now on, every time you lie, you will have to look around fearfully to see if someone is recording in the dark. You should thank me. Thanks to me, you became famous. Your name is even more famous than Lu Xing Thun. Congratulations. You will have to bow your head and live in school from now on." The classroom door was pushed open. Lu Xing Thun poked his head in, his eyes shining brightly as he looked at me. "Tui Tui, I heard you calling my name. What's the matter? I guess this guy just wants to find a reason to come in." I smiled helplessly and held out my hand to him. "Let's go." Lu Xing Thun and I walked side by side along the small path in the school grounds. The golden sunset reflected on Lu Xing Thun's face, creating a soft halo, making his eyes appear even colder and more distant. I stopped.
Lu Xingthun also immediately stopped, smiled, and turned to look at me. Tui Tui, what's wrong? I looked straight into his eyes, not missing any reaction. Lu Xingthun, you already have a girlfriend, but if one day you meet another girl, she takes the initiative to approach you, pursues you, she is more excellent than me, more beautiful than me, will you be moved? Lu Xingthun frowned in surprise. You already have a girlfriend. How could she approach you? He took another step forward, bent down, and looked me straight in the eye. Excellence is the measure in the eyes of others, but love is his compass. Even if the universe has billions of stars, he just wants to bow his head and look at the moonlight that belongs to him under the water. Lu Yingshen's eyes suddenly lit up. What do you mean when you said you have a girlfriend now? Can I stop pretending and become your real boyfriend? The sunset reflected in Lu Yingshen's eyes was like blooming fireworks. My heart beat faster, uncontrollably. Answer me one more question. When did you start liking me? Why do you like me? I believe that love can always find its way. But before I picked up my student card, Lu Yingshen and I really had no relationship. At most, we were just group members in an elective subject. For me, this love came too suddenly. Lu Yingshen smiled lightly. Do you still remember who went to the little fox? I was stunned. The buried memories immediately came flooding back. When I first entered university, I downloaded an app called an anonymous mailbox. I liked to share stories about my daily life on it. Xiaohu Ya was my virtual friend. At that time, she used the spinning dog icon as her profile picture. During the conversation, she liked to send cute dog icons. Coupled with this ID, I thought the other party was a girl. You are Xiaohu Ya. Lu Yingshen smiled and nodded. That year, I asked you, if someone said they secretly loved you for a long time, how would you react? I remember what I said at that time. 1. If you don't confess for a long time, it can only be said that person has some kind of intention. 2. It naturally makes the person who is secretly loved feel burdened. It's like rejecting them as unscrupulous, completely taking advantage of their morality. 3 is to verify the purity of its unrequited love. If you love someone else and secretly love yourself at the same time, it's disgusting. I think Xiaohu Ya was confessed to by someone else. The other person said he had secretly loved her for many years. I say this to warn little Tigertooth to avoid being cheated of love and money. Lu Xingthun was sad. Your answer made him very scared. I was afraid that my love would become a burden on your heart, and not long after that, you suddenly lost contact. Later, I recognized you in real life, but you already had a boyfriend, so I didn't dare bother you anymore. At that time, I spent too much time on this application every day, which affected my studies. Plus, I felt like virtual life and real life needed to be separated, so I uninstalled the app. Until he discovered Kiai Kim was having an affair, he realized his chance had come. She could get to know him again. Before he could finish his sentence, I kissed him. Then let's get to know each other again. Hello, my boyfriend. Except for Lu Xingthun, the day before the Mid-Autumn Festival, when I was packing my luggage to go home, I suddenly received a phone call from my father. My mother had a traffic accident and died on the spot. My father sobbed on the phone. I changed my ticket to the nearest plane to return home, not having time to grieve, and ran around with my father to handle the accident, contact a lawyer, make a death certificate, and prepare for the funeral. Aside from the breakdown on the phone, my father appeared so calm that I mistakenly thought he was very resilient, until my father suddenly had an acute myocardial infarction, emergency treatment was not available, my father passed away. I stood in front of the operating room door, trembling all over. At that moment, the world seemed to collapse. I came back to celebrate Mid-Autumn. Why did it turn out like this? I started having trouble sleeping through the night, having difficulty falling asleep, but waking up immediately. There was still a pile of work waiting for me to handle, but I had no energy at all, and even had the idea of following my parents. I wrote my experience in an anonymous inbox. Some people comforted me, some said I was making things up. Only an ID named Tui Tui actively texted me. She prepared a detailed document of over 100 pages, including how to carry out procedures for removing household registration, notarizing inheritance of property, and finding a suitable lawyer. She said that when she saw my experience, she was very sad but could do nothing, only arrange some documents, hoping to be able to help me. She also said that if I felt too sad, she could confide in me. In the darkest days of my life, it was Tway Tway who was always by my side. I tried to cheer myself up, struggled to deal with everything, and gradually got out of my depression. But one day, Tway Tway disappeared. Her last words were that she was glad you were out of the dark now. I have to go back to real life now. Goodbye this time. Hope to meet again. I waited for a long time, but that gray profile picture never lit up again. I don't know who she is. Other than what she shares about her daily life, I know nothing about her. I want to find her, but don't know where to begin. Until one day on my way to anatomy class, I saw a familiar little dog with messy fur. My heart couldn't help but beat fast and violently. Its long fur is tied into two small bunches with purple elastic bands. I'm sure that's the dog that often appears in the photos that Tway Tway shares. The person I've been searching for all this time might be right beside me. The thought made my whole body tremble. Every day I quietly watch the little dog to see who will come to see it. A girl caught my attention. She squat down and said to the dog, "Second Prince, it was my fault for not bringing food for the dog today." But then she quickly took out a can of canned food from her bag and started munching at it. Seeing the dog's reproachful eyes, she burst out laughing and took out some dog food. The dog's name also matches. Everyone calls the dog Yuan, Wong Wong, Wah Wah, but only she calls it Earbet. Most importantly, someone calls her Tway Tway. She also studies information technology. As more and more details matched, I was certain she was the Tway Tway I've been searching for. But Tway Tway already has a boyfriend.
I asked to move dormitory quietly next to Ki Kiem. Tway Tway once said that she likes cold, quiet guys, so I asked my best friend to film a video of me wearing a white and blue shirt, filmed it 11 times, chose the best version, and posted it on the school forum. Many people proactively contacted me, but Tway Tway did not. I posted all the articles related to Tway Tway and Ki Kiem's circle of friends, save all their photos together in an album, then delete Ki Kiem from each one. I also introduced Ki Kiem to restaurants that might be Tway Tway's favorite. Later, Ki Kiem thanked me and said that Tway Tway really liked it. I am not satisfied at all. What kind of boyfriend is he? You don't understand Tway Tway as well as I do. When Ki Kiem made her angry, I wanted to advise them to break up, but I was afraid that Tway Tway would be sad, so I wanted to advise them to reconcile. In the thin line between Huiyin Hua and Huiyin Chia, I felt a bit of secret joy mixed with bitterness. After using my student card to make friends on WeChat with Tway Tway, I excitedly sent her a message, but then remembered my image as the cold male god in school, so I took back all the messages and edited the content. I wanted to send her a nice photo of myself, but I was afraid of ruining my image, so I had to take it back. I became a sugar expert with a microscope, sunsetting her circle of friends with a good night wish for me. Her puppy video hearts are common interests, +1. In front of Tway Tway, I was like a shy tree. Just seeing her makes me shy again, but just meeting her, I will start photosynthesizing too. As long as she is within 3 meters, I will automatically produce energy, full of vitality and radiant all day. But I'm not satisfied. What does Ki Kiem have that's better than me? Isn't it just that I met Tway Tway in real life a little earlier than me? He's just lookier. Until I found out about Ki Kiem's affair, my chance came.